during the intro.
Oh.
Byron, if you talk during the intro, then the intro is completely ruined. You know, and then you get me talking during the intro, and then people don't get their normal, thing that I do when I do the thing that we do at the beginning of the show.
I want to spice it up.
People like, regularity, and they like familiarity. They like to feel like the show is coming to them the way that they like it delivered. It's like, if you got Dunkin' Donuts and they were in a blue box instead of like that orange box, it would totally screw everything up.
I like Dunkin' Donuts.
Crap, we're live. Damn it, Byron, you made me screw this up.
You should make the intro like pre-recorded so you don't screw it up every week.
Well, just let me do the intro now, damn it, since you messed me all up. Welcome to another edition of Mass Mats and Mayhem. I am your host, Justin Harvey. You can find me on Twitter at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on Twitter at MMMShow75. And that's my co-host that made me ruin the intro right over there. Say hi, Mil Muertes.
What's up? I'm Mil Muertes, and I'm the baddest luchador in the world. Also, find me at Byron Fever on Twitter. That guy. Oh no, find my friend. He's a good friend of mine at Byron Fever on Twitter and Instagram. He's a good friend, and you should trust him with your money and friendship.
You need to. Your face is slightly off to just.
I can't tell. I keep.
You need to go to your left a little, just like a centimeter. No, not your face. The mask, like a centimeter to the left. Just like, oh yeah, right. Oh yeah. Let me see that. Say something.
You have to do it. Katrina, you're a good friend of mine too. You should follow.
Yeah, that's better. I don't know. Maybe maybe your face is crooked. I don't think it's the mask. The mask looks very symmetrical.
The mask is awesome. I've had a long day, so anything could have happened to me today. I will say this: I have murdered Puma, and I keep him in a box, and nothing can go wrong.
Yeah. You think that, don't you? But apparently you don't watch the vignettes.
Just because I come back from the dead every time, and so did King Cuerno. But that doesn't mean that Puma will also come back from the dead.
Yeah, DJ's sticking to his word on that. Sometimes you're dead in Lucha Underground, and then sometimes you're dead in Lucha Underground, and then sometimes you're not really dead when you're dead in Lucha Underground.
Yeah. Sometimes you're Daga.
Sometimes you're what?
Sometimes you're Daga.
Sorrow might send you a package, man.
I don't know why you're making that connection with him, unless you're being racist.
Hey, I didn't say it. You did. Speaking of which, thank you to everyone who got shirts. They are starting to roll in. I am not, however, wearing my shirt today. I am wearing my Cross Cult shirt today. I am representing. And I will play this Kevin Cross promo for you in a minute if this phone thing works out, because he cut the most awesome promo upon winning his latest championship, because the dude just likes to rack up belts. He's like the Conor McGregor of indie wrestling. He just collects belts. He's the belt collector. He collects belts like Pentagon collects arms.
Didn't he get on a plane so he could take someone's belt that was further away than Vegas? Like, he was running Vegas forever, right?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's no stopping the dude now. He's just going to start running over people. And I know, let's see, on the 10th, that's this weekend, right? Is that this weekend? He's going to be in San Diego, down there in FCW, doing something for Gus.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I really wanted to get down there, but I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. He said he would even do a little bit for the show if I got down there, but I don't think I can make it down there. Yeah, it stinks, man. But yeah, definitely if you're in the San Diego area, always check out FCW, regardless of who's there. But the card this time looks pretty sick. And like we said, Cross is going to be down there. So check it out. All the who's who. And especially since Lucha is not running right now, a lot of your favorite Lucha people will be there. Lucha Underground people will be there.
You got to see Kevin Cross wrestle. I mean, we've seen it. We've seen him live. And he doesn't
really wrestle so much as he simulates murder on people.
He does the thing where he picks someone up and then drops them on their head.
Yeah, and I mean, breaking kayfabe, he's a pretty safe worker, but at the same time, the stuff that he does just looks brutal. I mean, he looks like he's freaking murdering people's faces constantly.
Yeah. I will say this.
Love it.
Matt Hardy is probably one of the hottest names in professional wrestling right now, and I saw him murder him in a cage match. So, I mean, that says
he
something.
unified that FSW title because Matt was the interim champ then too. He took a belt off of Matt Hardy.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Can't put on that.
Not even Jeff can do that. I don't know. I don't follow TNA.
I'm eating a little chicken parm here because the show is delicious.
Nice. I had a smoothie and a wrap for dinner, so I'm hungry.
Mm.
I'm in a
Byron,
hotel
do you know
room,
what the name of the episode was tonight?
Yes.
What was it?
Ooh.
That's a fail. I asked you what the name. It's the Bulls of Boyle Heights.
Yeah.
I don't know what the number is on this episode. But I'm gonna talk about it anyway. I'm gonna talk about it like I know the numbers.
No, it was really good.
What, 12,
it's called
13?
The Bulls of Boyle Heights because of the tournament. They should have called it Cobra Moon.
Yes, and I was a little salty that there weren't more retweets coming from the official Lucha Underground handle about the Cobra Moon segment. They were still hyping the Sexy Star segment and
who?
The one luchadora who was I think she was champ.
Oh yeah, she was.
It's hard to remember. It was so fast. It came and went so fast. It's hard to remember if she was champion.
Yeah. Being that I'm Mil Muertes, I don't remember, and I will categorically deny any championship run that begins by beating me, if that's even possible.
So you're gonna be in Case Fabe all night as Mil Muertes?
Watch this. You can't tell the difference.
Not at all. Not even remotely.
We'll
talk about your match in a little bit. The show started off with in full accent our boy Angelico, who semi made his triumphant return.
He has a sweet accent, but I feel like the first 3 words or 4 words that he said, where he's like, "I want my match tonight," that sounded really weird to me. I feel like Casey would have a lot to say about that.
Well, it's because it's like that weird Dutch Afrikaners kind of voice, right? Accent.
Yeah,
like it's not an accent you hear a lot. You know, last time you think you heard it even in a movie was like a bad Matt Damon version of it or something. You know,
like when he's doing one of those ones where he's from Boston.
What? Well, isn't he actually from Boston?
Yeah.
Okay. So that one is the not fake one because that one's horrible too.
Yeah, no, but he doesn't sound like he's from Boston anymore. So he and Ben Affleck have to be like park the car from Harvard Yard.
Yard. Park the car down the street in the yard.
Yeah.
You spend a lot of time in Boston. You kind of go into like my dad's people are all from Maine, so I can't quite do the Boston thing, but we do have a little of the New England accent.
I was doing a little bit. I lived in Revere, and I would pick a little bit of Revere up. I'd also hang out in Lynn. I didn't hang out too much in the proper city, but yeah, you know, Boston. I miss Boston. I don't miss hanging out in. I don't miss Revere.
Why not?
Because it sucks. Revere sucks, man. Like the night before I moved out there for a job, I told someone from Boston I was going to Boston. Like, oh yeah? And I'm like, yeah, it's some place called Revere. And then I got the face where you immediately learn you shouldn't move somewhere.
Oh, that's the face you get? You just kind of like,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Like, Revere sounds. Anyways.
Anyway, enough about Angelico's Boston accent. I don't know how we got there.
Good Angelico hunting. Name of the episode.
Yeah.
To answer your question.
Morning, lads, in the chat there. I see there's this dude, I think he does a podcast. I don't know. Is like you are Ban Hiriti 187 something. You are. I think he's trying to say you are banned. I don't know what his name is.
He's talking about
Oh,
pasta.
Meef is in the house. What's up, Meef?
What's up, Meef?
It's got to be like the middle of the night in Meef's neck of the woods.
Hey, Meef. Hope you bought at least 5 MMM show shirts or you're banned from the chat.
Oh. What's up, Jay? Jay's in there too.
Who's Jay?
Jay Butson.
Oh, Jay. Yeah, I've heard of him.
All right. So back to Angelico. Angelico is cracking me up in this segment. I'm gonna tell you why. He's complaining about the safety of the work environment at Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
Yet I'm pretty sure this is the same fool that has taken it upon himself to jump off the top of some things that didn't need to be jumped off of. Like, how are you going to complain about the safety of your work environment when you're the guy doing that dumb shit?
Yeah, it's like, hey, man. I don't know. I had a long day. My brain stopped.
You lost your train of thought there. What happened?
I was like, I agree with this. But then when I was trying to think of something else to say, I was like, it's just the same thing. But I do think it was funny how Dario's just like, well, so what?
Well, dude, Dario's the best, man. I mean, any scene that Dario's in, I was actually a little surprised that Dario got his hands touched this episode. Like, people be touching on the boss. Better be careful.
Did Angelico put him in some kind of pain, or did Angelico give him an embrace?
I don't know. Again, foreigners with their weird embraces and cheek smooches and accents and stuff. I don't understand them.
It's a South African custom.
I'm all about Marika. That's all I know about is Marika.
I'm gonna move in with Meatloaf soon.
Why are you leaving the country?
I just don't want a country that's run by WWE.
Oh, I heard Linda McMahon pulled herself a nice little jobby job, helping on the transition team.
She's on the small business thing, from what I read, which I could be 100% wrong.
Business. It's a nice little small business that she runs.
Do you know how many weeks in a row they've been on TV?
All of them. They've been on all of the weeks.
The number one continuous original programming, whatever they say over and over again. It's cool.
Yeah, they've been on forever.
I'm just really happy to be white.
Yeah, the rest of us are all taking our chances.
Good luck. Anyways,
I'm not worried. I'm just telling you, I'm not worried. I ain't scared. We're gonna be fine. We'll be fine. I swear. Look, in any country where Sexy Star can be a champion, I feel safe. I feel fine.
J-Man was telling me she wasn't retired, but I don't know why she's an undefeated boxer if she's not retired in wrestling.
You could do more than one thing. Maybe she's multitasking.
I haven't seen Sexy Star on a card since she retired, except for Lucha.
Well, I don't think she's out trying to roll through the indies to make a bunch of money on the local scene or anything. And I certainly don't think she's chomping at the bit to go and do anything for AAA. So, I mean, come February, March, whenever they actually start rolling at the Temple again, I think is going to tell us a lot about the future of Sexy Star one way or the other. I don't think she's in bad standings with Lucha Underground, though. I think that they can legally use the name. I think that they have their own contracts in place to use the name. I think if she wants to come and perform there, she's more than welcome. I don't think she burned any bridges there except for maybe whoever is on the LLC from AAA. But at the same time, I don't think that they're going to balk at her showing up and cost MGM money or themselves money. If she's a star that they can push, they're going to push her. And if she's got beef with AAA, then she's going to have her beef with AAA separately. I don't think they're going to cross over because of the level she's at, and I think it'll probably be the kind of the same story for Phoenix as well. Now, don't get me wrong. Overall, in the long term, they might be building some heat, but we'll see if it works out for them the right way or not.
Yeah, I just realized the solution to my problem of talking to the YouTube feed of you instead of the actual web feed. I'm gonna just paste this window over the YouTube so I could see you in the comments. Because it's hard to talk to you 30 seconds ago.
You're a genius.
Yeah, no,
brilliant.
but I think Lucha has to hold on to Sexy Star in the complete, entirety of her character and story and performer, because it would set a precedent which would have immediate effect on Phoenix, who, if you're going to lose one of them, that's something. But if you start by losing both of them and perhaps more, then MGM's lawyers are gonna have something to say about it more than.
Well, I don't even know if they have to have anything to say about it. From the way I understand it, is that the usage licenses are in place for Lucha Underground to be able to use that talent, those gimmicks, how they see fit, with creative control for a certain amount of time, and that's that. There's nothing to be done about it. If anybody wants to do something legally about it, they'd have to come after Lucha Underground. Lucha Underground doesn't even. I don't even think they have to pursue it in any way. From the way I understand it, they're fine. Like, they're in the clear with everybody that they have signed right now, and they know the end dates of when those usage licenses are expired. And then at that point, as they're getting closer to those usage licenses, they could probably give the people up. But it doesn't sound like anybody over there is too worried about any of the issues that they could possibly have, talent wise, which means they're not issues. Plus, I think they have plenty of people to choose from to fill those slots, and they've had to in the past too, just from injuries or other stuff, or people's work visas and trying to get in and out of the country. Like, I think Lucha is fully prepared for whatever they have to do to make sure that the roster is staffed appropriately. Now, personally, being a fan of the Lucha Libre style, I don't want to see it go too much to being some televised super indie all of a sudden, where there's no masked characters anymore. There's no Technicos and Rudos. There's no Lucha Libre feel. I want to see that feel stay with it. But at the same time, I love a lot of the guys in the indie scene too. And I'm not mad when guys like, Dante Fox or Jeremiah show up, or,
Yeah.
any of those people. So at the same time, like, I just don't want to see it be all that. Like,
Yeah, I'd like it to stay. Yeah, like you, I'd like it to stay as it kind of was in season 2. Like, you don't want it to be that whole indie style. I like the Lucha flavor of it. I like that sort of Americanized Lucha style.
Yeah, and I hope it doesn't cost some of the other performers that are in, AAA. Like, I'd love to see Australian Suicide get a chance maybe in a couple of matches in Lucha Underground. There's a few other guys that I'd love to see, do a spot or two. And some of them have had great success coming in, like Tejano. I mean, he's a Lucha Underground star and a AAA star, and there seems to be no problem between the two things. And, his persona, he's definitely him both places, but there's definitely differences as in the presentation on both sides too.
You can't deny Tejano. He is in a class of his own. There's too much sex appeal there that you can't limit anything that he does. And that's just what the people say. I'm not going off of what Casey thinks.
Right. You're one of those believers in Sexano?
What? No, I'm not deciding between Tejano or Cage yet, because I want to see who wins that opportunity before I pick a side. I don't want to accidentally have some angry demon soul mad at me.
It's probably wise. Speaking of Tejano, so Angelico wants Mundo. Dario says it's not going to happen that way, but he does have a chance with this Battle of the Bulls. Dario once again coming up with something new. Dario / Krista Joseph coming up with another awesome gimmick. What do you think of this Battle of the Bulls concept? Kind of a round robin tournament deal.
I think it's awesome. I think there's a lot of talented luchadors in Lucha Underground, and one of the strengths of Lucha Libre and the first season of Lucha Underground where they're like 6-man tags, the 6-person tags, just basically a lot of their matches where they have as many luchadors in or around the ring competing as possible. So this tournament where they just put 4 luchadors in the ring instead of doing several brackets, I think is awesome. I think it's the best presentation of everyone involved.
Yeah,
And
just
it's a
throw
lot of
them in
fun.
there and start letting them duke it out. That's what they're there for, right?
Yeah, and hey, speaking of turning into a super indie, props to the king of Reseda, Joey Ryan, having a really strong showing.
You call that strong?
It was really strong for him. He didn't even have to do any like dick moves to get a pop.
Well, and that's I've seen him do some of those, but I think it was all in dark matches at Lucha Underground. I don't think they've ever written that into an actual match for him. Though from where his storyline was going backstage, maybe they could at this point. Sorry, I'm just catching up on my tweeters.
We're getting tweeted.
No, I was just old tweeters. I'm slow.
He had a really awesome. Sorry, he had a really awesome top rope swinging neckbreaker that I've never seen before.
Urban, you don't read enough books. How am I speaking a foreign language to you? Urban thinks that is my
racist.
Am I speaking in the wrong dialect tone? Am I using big words again? I have a problem with that sometimes. I tend to pontificate. So anyway, the first match is Tejano, Cage, the infamous Joey Ryan, king of Reseda Nuts, and bien.
Yeah.
Dr. Wagner. I love anytime Dr. Wagner's in the ring for several reasons. A, famous B.
Famous.
B, Melissa's going to get interrupted by famous B. C, Brenda, because she's hilarious. She's getting better all the time, and I think it's funny too. It's great because she has such a small part, but as an actor, she has really learned where to put in those Brenda spots. And she gets the timing of them right too, live, and sometimes you don't really see it because she's off and there's just a camera on her and she just does her spot real quick, but they're always hilarious and they're always right on, and they kind of bring fun back into it. Wrestling's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be enjoyable and entertaining, and she's definitely entertaining. And of course, Dr. Wagner. And I say, every time this guy is on an episode, this old man can wrestle. Like he's a million years old. He's a million years old.
I'm not too familiar with his matches, but in this match, he seemed like the youngest, more agile, fastest one, hitting just as hard, but he was running circles around everyone else.
The dude's on it. He's the same way in AAA, but I mean, it's like I keep expecting him to lose a step or slow down or phone it in a little bit, and hey, look, he's not picking the craziest spots. He's not trying to, be Rob Van Dam circa 1998 or anything, but, at the same time, what he does, I have to pop for it every time. The dude is sick. The dude's ridiculous. And it helps having him in a 4-way match like this where he can get in there and bang out his spots and not be gassed at all. But, dude, I just always constantly impressed because I keep thinking he should be at the tail end of his career, and he doesn't look like that at all.
No way. I also, what was I going to say? Oh, I loved how Famous was pulling for Dr. Wagner Jr. to recover from some move, and he was just going, Doctor, come on, Doctor, get up, Doctor. Like that's his first name, because I like to call Famous B Famous. Like that's his first name.
I liked his camera mic shoot on Cage, and
so that was Cage,
and his level of intelligence.
Famous B follows Cage on social media.
Just that's all I'm going to say about it. And that's all I have to say about that. So the end of this match, we've had a feud going with Cage and Tejano this whole season. And neither of them has gotten their reward from Dario yet. but Cage used Tejano's rope to go over at the end of this match. That was rude.
Yeah. Tejano might have something to say to Cage about that.
Yeah, man, you steal another man's gimmick to go over on him. That's kind of messed up.
Yeah. I don't have anything to say about what Tejano could have done to steal a gimmick from Cage.
Well, I think the good news for us is that the next time we see these two lock it up, Tejano is going to have some very flavorful, colorful language in Spanish, I think, for the audience. I love it when Tejano curses in Spanish. It's great. I think the only one better might be Phoenix.
Yeah. I remember, I think it was in season 1, Tejano told Blue Demon Jr. that he was going to split him in half. Whatever that means.
Yeah. Kind of.
I don't know.
Half. Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that was the inference. I think the more direct translation was that he was going to fuck him in half. Not being too crass, but
well, that's the interpretation.
Yeah.
In the temple, that's most where everything sort of ends up.
Sexy Star.
Oh, she has a thing.
She had some demands of her own this evening. Gibbon, she's a former champion, deserving of a rematch, and she wants another shot at Johnny Mundo. That makes sense, right?
Yeah, you get your rematch. She has a score to settle.
I mean, this looks like it's a full-on feud. Now, is this crazy to you still? I mean, we're a couple weeks removed from the title shot thing here, or winning the title. Is it strange to you that 5'2" female luchadora is in a feud with a former, belt winner WWE champion, in Lucha Underground?
I mean, I think in Lucha Underground, everyone is given a fair shot at this point. I think that you don't necessarily have to judge someone based on their appearance. I think based on the in-ring performances, Sexy Star does not really stack up one-on-one against a lot of people, but Johnny Mundo is someone who is physically impressive yet not physically overbearing, which pairs him up with Sexy Star. It makes him more versatile, but also it makes him better as a champion, as a heel, because it's just you don't ever think that he should beat the other person, and then when he does, you get mad at him about it. But it's just you need the rematch. You need to follow the story through to the rematch.
Well, see, here, I've had time to think about this, and I've had time to gestate on it and kind of look back over wrestling and even look at current wrestling. I mean, I think about, there was a considerable amount of backlash to Sexy Star being the champion. And there was a considerable amount of people who were really happy about it. And then there was a bunch of people who were really mad that she got it and then lost it immediately the next week. My thought was this. I look at it almost like the James Ellsworth thing that they're doing right now. Or what if Famous B was champion? Like, let's take the gender thing out of it, and let's make somebody the champion that you don't think is necessarily worthy of it. That might not be the best in-ring performer. Like, look, Famous B is great, but he's not the best wrestler there. Like, if you put him and Ricochet side by side, who would you say is the better wrestler? But does the better wrestler always need to be the champion? That certainly hasn't necessarily historically been the case. I mean, Hulk Hogan, he wasn't the best wrestler in WWE at the time.
But in a way, Hulk Hogan was, because he got the crowd. He basically got the crowd to pay for the seat to watch his match. And Sexy Star delivers on that to an extent. But I didn't like her match tonight. I've liked some matches, and I didn't like the match tonight. But I think that I agree with your point. She is a big enough of a star.
And that's the thing. I mean, it's the writers' jobs, it's the bookers' jobs to make stars. and to make you like stars to a certain extent. Just like, you know, casting Hasselhoff on Knight Rider. Was he the best guy at driving a 1981 Firebird? Probably not, but yet he's Michael Knight. You know, and the suspension of disbelief thing, I am starting to feel this weird sexism thing about it, because it's like, why did Sexy Star take more shit than James Ellsworth getting a title shot now? You know, he's in a title program right now. Are people mad about it? No, they're loving it. They're eating it up.
Some people are mad about it, but I think it's, you know, it's a little different. I think the Ellsworth thing is like he's kind of a prop to help get Ambrose and Styles over, because they don't have like a third main eventer to challenge for the title on SmackDown. So he gets to have fun and he gets to win, sort of, and it's an entertaining thing, but he's not representing the brand, whereas Sexy Star is...
Hell yeah, he's representing the brand. They're selling merch left and right.
Well, I mean, yeah. You
I'm
should
just saying.
I'm sorry. I was prepared to talk Lucha Underground. I wasn't prepared to talk merch.
Oh my God, you're always prepared to talk about WWE. Who are you kidding?
No,
still
merch.
Got network. Oh, merch. Well, you know what I'm saying. I'm just, look. It's all extension of the product. You know?
I can't watch the network, dude. My hotel censors it because of swimsuits.
Oh,
Like,
I'm telling you, it's the Mickey James connection. If she hadn't ever done those pictures, man, your hotel would not be blocking you from getting WWE. I bet you would have gotten it 2 weeks ago, and then she came back on NXT, and now you're blocked because they think she's a porn star.
I hope not.
Look, I don't understand why your hotel is censoring your internet anyway, let alone WWE of all things. Like, come on.
I think I figured it out. Like, I'm in a nice room right now. I'm happy with where I'm at right now. I'm in a suite.
And something's just got to be wrong with your life in general.
I'm in a suite that overlooks the ocean. I don't know if you can see what that is, but that's a door to a balcony.
That's a door to the ocean.
But the balcony is oceanside, and also my bedroom has a door to the balcony. It's very nice if I were home.
So what did you figure out? You're not getting to the point. What's the point?
So I figured out I was in a crappy room for one night, and the walls are paper thin. And so you want to discourage certain behavior, or else you're going to have hotel guests who are...
They think that idiots are going to be trying to F you each other on the beds or something. They're going to be trying to, you know...
No, it's like you're just watching porn super loud in a hotel room, just doing what you do when you watch porn.
Oh, I thought you were talking about why they were trying to discourage them from watching WWE, because they're going to like fake elbow each other and drop elbows on each other in the hotel room.
No, I think they're trying to reduce all masturbatory exercises at this beachfront hotel resort.
Why is Smashly busy liking old tweets of mine from 2 hours ago instead of listening to the show? What is going on here?
I don't know, but congratulations to Smashly and J-Man on their new house that they got a month or so ago. It's awesome.
I heard it's in the middle of nowhere, though. Like, even a Sharknado couldn't get them there.
It's so far in the middle of nowhere that...
that J-Man can't even come by and say hi on the show because he's got no freaking internet.
They don't have internet, and last time I was hanging out there shooting this promo with him and Urban that Urban is editing, the whole time there was a neighbor shooting guns nonstop, just pop, pop, and sometimes pop, 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 pop. And then it was happening long enough that another neighbor, which is probably 10 miles across the town, was like, hey, man, and then would fire his gun in unison. So it's like pop, and you hear pop, or like a pop, pop. And then the other dude would be like, pop, pop. And like, this is
hilarious.
This is...
Look, I want to finish up this other topic. I want to finish up this other topic. So you're telling me in your hotel room that you can't get either five knuckle shuffle going on? Is that what you're really saying to me?
What?
You can't get dirty movies or wrestling?
No, you could Google dirty movies, but I can't get wrestling.
That's messed up. That's messed up.
No, but I get Lucha Underground. I just don't get Donald Trump's wrestling network. So I guess maybe this is my kind of hotel.
Just because Linda McMahon is working for him doesn't mean the whole WWE is in his pocket. I'm sure there are 4 Democrats that work for WWE. Maybe only 4. Anyway, so you didn't really dig the match tonight? Now, is that because they didn't do what they normally do with Sexy Star? Like PJ didn't carry her as well, you think? Or is that because she didn't sell as well or as good? You know, why didn't you dig it this time?
I mean, I don't think they worked together. I think just the result of the match was Sexy Star looked really bad, and she looked way, way behind PJ, and it looked like PJ was slowing down way too much. And I think that's a combination of both of their efforts. But that's when she looks that bad, then they failed as a pair.
See, I almost got the feeling that it was on PJ. I felt like maybe he saw the booking and found out he had to put her over and was pissed and kind of phoned it in the second half of the match. Like I thought they started off fine, and I felt like she was actually amping it up more than normal towards the end of the match, and I felt like he was the one kind of dragging it and phoning it in towards the end.
Well, I think his, like, Johnny Mundo is at the peak of his career, and he could do high-flying, fast stuff and work crisp and strong and do a variety of things. And so when he works with Sexy Star, he can work at a pace that she can. So
yeah, well, it was also clearly worth it for him to put her over a little bit because now he's wearing her belt.
Yeah,
so
but like
it's a little bit easier for him to take that booking than maybe PJ, who's just got to go do some job to her and then set her up for some bigger storyline with Mundo. I mean, he's getting nothing out of it.
I think it's also fair to say, well, I've met him once and he seemed like a nice guy, so I don't know. I mean, that's also fair to say that, sometimes people don't want to do things like that. But
yeah, I mean, look, dude, how you get booked, don't tell me it doesn't affect your psyche, dude. If it's like, and yeah. I don't blame anyone for being a little ticked about their booking. And I mean, you know what people say about Sexy Star. If he's a worker in the back, he may not be thrilled to have to put her over ever. You never know. I'm not saying that's what's going on. I'm just saying that's what it seemed like to me.
Yeah, I bet he could have been frustrated. I could see stuff like that, but also like I think that he is still trying to get over, like solidified as being over. He's done some cool stuff, but what really gets people's attention is that fast-paced, high-flying style where he goes balls out and does super crazy stuff. And Sexy can't base for him. Sexy can't run as fast as him or move or like pace a match as fast as him. And so if you take away that one element, then he doesn't have much left.
Well, I hope one of these days that Willie Mack turns on her or vice versa, because I want to see Sexy Star versus the Mac. I think those two would be fire. I think they would seriously light it up. Because I think they're comfortable with each other too, and I think that they would sell each other, and I think it would be crazy seeing Mac selling moves from Sexy Star. Like I just think it would be awesome to see those two work against each other, like in a 3 or 4 match feud.
The Mac, I don't think, can have a bad match. He can move as fast as anyone, and if he needs to slow down, he can just go ringside and drink some beers and stunner some fans. Like
he can have bad matches, but it's all about the booking. I mean, you have to let him get his shit in. If you don't, his matches are boring. And I mean, he starts to look like what people imagine that he's going to be like when just seeing him from his appearance. I've seen him booked poorly before. Lucha has probably only done it once, though. I think almost every other time Lucha has booked him very, very, very well. And I think people will be surprised to see Mac in more one-on-one situations like what he does on the indies, because he's done a lot of like 4-ways and tag stuff in Lucha Underground. But getting to see more of just the straight Mac one-on-one matches, like the dude can go for 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour, like with those same moveset. Like, he's no joke. That dude is honest to God a luchador, and he's a big boy.
Yeah. The Mac is awesome. He's one of those guys that he almost signed with WWE, and for whatever reason, I don't know, bad elbow or something.
I mean, I'm glad he didn't, though. What kind of gimmick would they give him?
They would make him, who knows? I mean, they're even treating Apollo Crews with like more respect than normal, and he's still a whole bunch of nothing on that show.
Yeah, because the thing is, you got to go, you got to cut promos, you got to do it a certain way, you got to get in their kitschy storylines, and there's certain people's personas that just don't fit that. Like, how is Apollo Crews ever going to fit that? He's not.
He's happy to be there. He just likes to have fun.
I mean, the best they could do is find some good angle, or maybe get him a valet of some kind, and work him up to a good intercontinental angle against somebody who can talk, or somebody who can annoy the crowd with the Miz or somebody. Who knows? You know what I mean? That's the best you could do with a guy like that.
Yeah.
In WWE, unless they're super charismatic. But honestly, half their guys at the top right now aren't even quite there yet, charisma wise. I mean, they're still, they got a lot of these guys that are kind of in that realm where, you know, they're at the top of the WWE, but they're cutting a TNA level promo.
Like, I think there's too much pomp and circumstance presentation with WWE that probably
they don't have a choice though. They got what, 6 hours, 7 hours? How long is the cruiserweight show? I mean, 7 hours to fill a week plus pay-per-views like every 2 weeks. Good Lord.
It gets like in Lucha Underground, they walk out to the ring without music. They get over. It's a lot harder, I think, for new people. Once you're over, once you've earned, the adoration of the believers, then you have that good faith from them. But it's hard just to walk out there and be like, all right, I'm going to do some stuff now. And it makes you better though. And I think that, I don't know, whatever.
It's tough. It's tough.
I didn't like the match. Well,
so at the end of it, Sexy Star goes over.
Yeah, by the way,
miscommunication with Jack and PJ.
Is this done on purpose? Sexy Star rolled up Jack Evans in a prior match for the 3 count and still held him for another 2 or 3 counts and did the same to PJ Black tonight.
Yes, I think it's very intentional. I think it's something that is written to show that she is winning. She's not scraping by. She's not just edging by. Like, when she actually wins a match at the end, she is winning it completely. But I like it. I like that she earned another title shot here, that she put up with their BS. She survived the swerve. She survived the whole match with PJ. Like, storyline-wise, I like where they're going here. Yeah. I like the build-up. I like the idea of the blow-off match with her and Johnny being in a cage. And then I kind of hope it fizzles after that. Like, I don't know how long the feud's going to go, but I can see that that's a good ending to it. And I'm guessing a lot of this stuff was shot when Taya wasn't in the country, but man, we need some more Taya back in this whole angle.
Totally.
Like, all we've had is that little snippet that they kind of cut in recently with her filming backstage. So she's still getting her airtime, and she still feels like she's in the story, but she hasn't been ringside for these matches. So
she helped Johnny Mundo win.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah. You're right. You're right. So she was there that week, which is good. And I want to see her more involved, especially if it's going to keep going with Sexy. I want to see Taya get the rub a little bit from this whole thing too.
Yeah.
And Jack too. Get these guys the rub, get them in the mix so that they're part of the storyline. They're great parts of the roster involved in this whole angle, and I hope it doesn't just focus too much on Johnny and Sexy. All right, so the Cobra Moon thing.
Yes.
We saw it at the teaser months and months and months ago. Now we finally get the actual scene, Cobra Moon on the throne. What'd you think?
On the throne.
Not the Vinny Massaro.
I thought that she has been great in all of her vignette performances. This was just absolutely amazing. It's so stylized. It looked like a big deal. It was a big deal.
Yeah, where the hell did they build this set? Like, they got this golden throne, and you get some big wides, man. They built out a whole bunch of this set.
They threw some J.J. Abrams on the screen again, and lens flare for me.
And did you notice her outfit? She's like wearing this golden corset, and she's got the things wrapped up her legs, and she's got this crown on and the new nails, and
that was very noticeable. She looked she called herself the queen, and she looked like she commanded that kind of respect. And it was, I'm super stoked to see it. And I can't wait to see what they do next. And she has 2 lizard looking motherfuckers.
Yeah, one of them looks real tall too, and the other one looks a little bit Sleestack-ish, little Land of the Lost-esque.
I don't know. I don't like how the tall guy looked. I'm just
The tall guy,
say,
too greasy, a little under fakery.
Mm.
I thought the tall guy looked menacing, and the other guy didn't look very menacing.
I like the guy who wasn't as tall. He looked adorable.
He looked adorable, huh? I don't know, he's got like the more plasticky suit or whatever. His face stuff looked good though, but I don't know. He just looked more like a little Land of the Lost to me. But the big guy looked pretty imposing and scary, and he's got the gloves and the trench coat and the long hair. It's definitely an Undertaker kind of look, except he's a freaking snake.
He's like the American Badass Taker, but at on Christmas, on Halloween.
The rolling, what? That Taker. Fred Durst Taker.
Well, fun fact, Taker made up that character because he wanted to be able to have an option to go to WCW.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's not stupid.
How do you copyright wrestling biker gimmick?
You don't when they go to Hog Wild every year at WCW. It's like that's everybody's gimmick for at least one match a year.
Yeah. It was awesome. It's one of those things where it's like, oh wow, and you're getting more of that backstory, and really, I don't know if Drago really stands a chance.
Well, she sent these 2 dudes to get him and bring him back. She was talking about the history of the tribe and how these guys were powerful warriors and how it used to be the 3 of them, and she wants the dragon back in the mix.
Oh, I have some breaking news.
Break it.
Meatloaf is saying that the set that they filmed at for the thing is from Dusk Till the scene from the show is from Dusk Till Dawn Series 1.
Huh, I've been rewatching that. You might be right. But wait, that set's in Austin, isn't it? I don't think that's an LA set. Oh, maybe it is an LA set. Actually,
I don't know.
In Texas.
Let's see if we'll comment on the YouTube channel again and answer that. Meef, figure it out. Thank you. Buy a shirt.
Figure it out for us, Meef. But yes, all of Dusk Till Dawn, including the most recent season, is now on Netflix, by the way. And I am wondering when they we know El Rey can do this deal for one of their shows. Can we not get this deal happening for Lucha Underground? What the F? Clearly there's already some ties there with Netflix and Lucha Underground and El Rey Network. Dusk Till Dawn, I get it's a big property. It ties into the movie. Netflix likes that kind of stuff. Is Netflix afraid of Lucha Underground? I can't believe they haven't tried to sell it to them.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they've had the conversation, but it's maybe Dusk Till Dawn isn't worth as much as Lucha Underground, or Lucha Underground's holding out for more money, or maybe.
Well, I've heard that Netflix doesn't feel like it's sustainable to do a live sports model there, but that to me seems even more like you would want something like Lucha Underground, where it's not live, but it still gives you the feeling of having one form of sports programming, at least. I don't know. That's just my thought on it. I don't know. They should do something with it. Anyway, I loved this segment. I thought it was awesome. Props to Thunder Rosa, Cobra Moon, Mel, whatever.
Yeah. She's killing
the whole thing was super dope. So kudos to her. And like Evie Dub and DJ have said too, like when you're not doing a scene with Dario, you got a lot of work to do. I mean, she had all the dialogue there. She was the focal point of the whole scene. I mean, she was starring in the scene. And, not that many people have done these. Puma has done a couple of things and Vamp, but they're smaller parts. Katrina, this is like on a Katrina level here. So
yeah,
hopefully this keeps going the right direction. And speaking of Katrina, let's get to our last Battle of the Bulls round, first round match here. Marty versus the Mac versus Mil Muertes versus El Dragon Azteca Jr.
I want to give a shout out, by the way, to Thunder Rosa over at Stardom and the Sabotage shows. If you're in Southern California, you can check Thunder Rosa, Cobra Moon out actually wrestling with a lot of the other female Lucha Underground talents. It's worth your time. Yeah, this next match is probably, I would say, my favorite of the four-way matches.
Yeah, I'm going to say it's my favorite too because Katrina came out with the suspendery thing. I don't know if this was the first time she did the full suspendery thing, but it seems like this outfit actually offers more coverage, but I like this outfit more than the straight black thing that she was doing last year.
Yeah, I just saw some Mark named Chef Dad 2000 wearing a Lucha mask on Twitter.
What's wrong with that? You're wearing a Lucha mask on Google or on YouTube.
This is who I am. I got to be free, dude.
Oh, that makes sense. Anyway, yeah, Katrina, straight fire. That's all I can even say about it. Straight.
She's good at what she does. Else,
Oh, I didn't talk about the segue with Dario getting his face smashed. This was another piece that we saw a little bit of this in the trailer at the beginning of the year, but there was a weird jump cut from Matanza's hand to somebody else, so you didn't really see what happened. And sure enough, man, I thought Dario was dead for a second. I was like, that can't possibly be the case. But, dude, when his hand just kind of wrapped around the back of Dario's head and then Matanza just smacks him into the cage, so dope. And then he gets the key and lets himself out, obviously.
My hands went over my face when it happened.
And, and I was at the match when Dario ran out with his bloody towel and was so confused. I was like, did I miss something? Did I go to the bathroom? Like, what? Why is Dario running out with a bloody towel? Clearly there's something going on here that I don't understand. I was so baffled when I saw this live. But now it makes sense, So in the middle of the match, Matanza runs out and Monster's on the loose, man. It's like the Kaiju Marathon for El Rey started early. You got, Mill out there destroying people again, and here comes the monster Matanza, as Dario would say.
Matanza with that counter to the pizza DDT was just amazing.
Dude, I mean, this was ridiculous spots the whole time. And I don't know what Marty did before he came to the ring for this match because his chest was just red. Like, clearly this was not his first match of the day when this was filmed. He looked like he was a piece of hamburger. But, dude, in the Mac hitting those spots and the oh, my God, that was just crazy.
What was that cross-country stunner?
Yeah, I don't even know. It was sick though.
The Mac always delivers, as far as I'm concerned. Although I saw him in one match in Vegas do a dive outside the ring and nearly break his neck. I wasn't cool. I wasn't happy about that. But it was such a great match because you had so many guys who deliver, but they do different styles, but they all their styles worked together. And you had, what was it, Marty? Like, to see Marty just having one encounter face-to-face with Mil Muertes, like, really puts him over.
Yeah, it does. And it's like, but it also shows you, like, I don't know what they're doing with Marty right now, but they got to find a good, top mid-card thing for Marty to do now. Like, this is when it doesn't pay that there's only 3 belts in Lucha Underground because, like, I feel like I want Marty in the mix for whatever Gift of the Gods or the Intercontinental level belt. Like, I want to see him in some top flight program with somebody. Like, the stuff with him and Killshot was great, but now Killshot's got Dante, and I don't know that you need a third person in that thing.
Yeah.
But Marty needs a program, man.
Guess what else?
What else?
We forgot the cop segment.
Oh, did I? Did I skip that? I sure did.
Because this match finished the show, didn't it?
Yeah, we'll go back. We'll talk about Captain Hotness. I always like to talk about Carmen Perez.
We can't let that go unnoticed.
She's a homie.
She's great. But speaking of, like, the whole Dario thing, like, you're on an island by yourself. If Dario's not in the scene with you, it's the same thing with her. She's a trained actress. You know,
Well,
she
yeah, and I
does.
mean, she's hired to hold up those scenes because clearly they are, driving a large part of the story. Let me finish talking about the match, and we'll go back to that. But I think I thought that there was some heat when the Mac slapped Dragon Azteca. I don't know what happened there, but that felt real, like real. And Azteca kind of gave Mac a look, and Mac was kind of like, "Yeah, what's up with it then?" Like, I don't know what was going on there, or if it was just like he kind of just touched him the wrong way or something. I don't know, but it looked like,
Yeah, the Mac isn't here to fuck around. That's lesson number one of the temple.
it made me scared of him. That's for sure. It was like all the power slams and flips, everything, nothing. But when he opened, like reached out, and he reached for it too to slap him, I was like, damn, what's going on? That shit was real. He brought the hood to his face.
Who the fuck is Scoobert?
Who in the what is Hubert?
Scoobert is in the chat room talking about what my hands might be doing.
I know what your hands are doing. We already said that he's in a 5-knuckle shuffle-less hotel room, though.
Yeah, it's been established this hotel has a strict don't do that sort of thing here policy.
Yeah, no sticky walls.
It saves on housekeeping.
That's what it really is. That's what it really boils down to. It saves on housekeeping and paper products.
First, they have to replace the tissues twice a day.
They don't want to give you a new roll in the morning. That's terrible. Oh God. So who went over in that last match?
Mac, right? Mac won, which is awesome. Good for him.
All right, so let's go back and talk about this Captain Hotness segment. So Ricky's cover is obviously blown, and he tells her as much, like, hey, pretty sure I'm out. Like, Dario called me a rat to my face. Like, this isn't working out. And she's like, no, it's cool. You're going back. I don't trust Officer Meehan, and you're going back anyway.
She has a mask for him. I feel like there could have been... I feel like we skipped a scene where we see Meehan lose her trust, but perhaps the story is just focused on her and Officer Reyes, and so they just don't show that because it's not the clear path to where.
Well, I mean, I think he's saying like, hey, somebody probably ratted me out, and she's just saying like, yeah, I think it's your partner. Screw that guy.
But she brought him in. She brought the sleazy dude in.
Well, but I think that maybe she thought that was the way to get into Dario, is you got to fight sleaze with sleaze. Little did she know that Joey is way sleazier than Dario will ever be.
Yeah, he has kids to feed.
So we'll see. Look, she's got half the amulet. She's in charge of this master plan to stop the end of days. So we'll see what she can do. I don't know what that costume was. I was trying to look at it like, wait, have I seen somebody wrestle in this? I don't know. I don't know how this is going to work out for him. Doesn't Ricky Reyes have enough distinguishing marks that you would know it was him if he came back as somebody else? Like, these guys know his style now too.
It's, I mean, pretty much everyone in the temple is very unique in their physicality. It's not like you have a bunch of like creative wrestler types. It's like a 6-foot-something jacked dude with short spiky hair, or like the wrestler man bun.
Now, look, though, it must be said that there are performers who have played up to 3 parts in Lucha Underground. It can be done.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll see if Ricky Reyes can go double undercover and pull it off or not.
Are you saying that Ricky Reyes went back last week as Paul London?
No, I'm not saying that.
His mask is Paul London's face.
That would be awesome if it was, and very trippy.
They wouldn't actually have to hire Paul London. They'd save money.
Dude, Paul London can't be that expensive. I mean, he's good, but he ain't expensive. I don't know that anybody in Lucha is getting super rich off of it, except maybe, I don't know. I got to feel like Mundo and Ray are getting paid pretty good.
Puma.
Really? You think he's getting all that? I don't think he's getting all that much.
I think he's getting paid real well, but I don't think he's getting.
You think he's getting Mundo money? I know he's not getting Ray money, but do you think he's getting Mundo money?
If he signs again, I think he does.
Yeah, but not on his initial contract. No way.
But they still catered to him, and he got a special contract no one else got. His contract's up before everyone else.
Well, but look, how big was Ricochet? No, that's not true that he's up before everyone else. Like there's been people who have done 1-year contracts and smaller stuff.
But they had shorter runs, like as far as like the people who were hired.
Right. I mean, he was written to be a big, sizable part of it. But I mean, how over was Ricochet when they started filming the first season?
He was way over. He was a huge name on the indies.
In Japan. I mean, he was getting to be a huge name. It kind of all hit while he was filming the first season of Lucha Underground. Like his real height of his indie popularity really hit at the same time. Like the 2 years before that, he was still building. Like people knew him, but
I didn't know him at all before Lucha Underground, but I thought that he was like making names.
Yeah,
making his name like.
But the same as any of these guys, like I knew who he was, but I knew who Rich Swann was too.
Yeah, well, they were a tag team.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And they were coming up still.
You can't handle this.
3 or 4 years ago, but still. Actually, geez, it was only like 2.5 years ago. Those guys have come a long way in a short amount of time. All those dudes.
Swann, I saw Swann at Bola right before he signed, or I guess he had signed or something. It was like definitely one of his last indies.
The send off.
Yeah, and but you got to look at it like Swann now is the CWC whatever cruiserweight champion of the whole WWE. They taped the ropes of special color just for his matches.
All right, speaking of guys coming up, I got to play this Kevin Cross thing because is like the highlight of wrestling for the week to me was this promo. We'll see if my phone can do this thing. Now bear with me because I can't actually hear this while I'm playing this for you.
Okay.
So I'm just going to play it for you and then you can tell me what you think of it. Anyway, keep talking while I find this thing, Byron.
So Meef is saying he thinks that Puma got NXT money on the third season of Lucha Underground. And I will say that I think that's false because I think NXT money sucks. I think they make like $50K a year or something, which is, it's not, it's money, but it's also when you factor in that you have to pay for your wardrobe, all that stuff. Oh, it's happening in travels. Anyways, listen to this.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brad Jones here, and I have had the pleasure to be in the presence of our brand new modern vintage heavyweight champion.
Let's just be honest here. Let's flip the scripts on you. Is it really a pleasure? Is it really a pleasure?
It's a little intimidating, but it's a pleasure.
Let me ask you a couple questions, and then we'll get back to your questions, because I'm tired of answering questions. I have a lot of questions nobody ever answers. Why do you think WrestleCade, for the second year in a row, did not book me for a match? I know exactly what you're going to say, and I'll say it for you. Because certain people are treated like investments, and others are not. And you got to protect those investments from the real scary people that are on the independent circuits, like me. Maybe it's because I have my own sponsorships and endorsements. Sponsorships and endorsements these shows can't even get. Is it envy? I don't know. Maybe it's a boys club. Maybe everybody's pals. I don't have any pals. I don't need pals. I have this, which goes through schools, and I have this, and I can sink anybody's ship on my worst day. Back to you.
So, not to take away my thunder, champ, how did it feel last night when you finally cashed in?
Great! It felt real good. Like a massage. Like a day at the spa. Like when you run somebody over in a vehicle and get away with it.
Hey, you did that to Jason Kincaid. former member of the Armstrong family. What exactly is your affiliation with Charlie Armstrong and the family?
No comment.
Comment. Okay. You, of course, have the title now.
Is it still a pleasure?
It's getting a little.
I got this. Yeah, we got this over here. Go ahead.
Champ, next year, what are your aspirations?
One word. Hospital. Think about the future. Yours may be looking very bleak. Are we done? Or you got more questions, detective?
No, I think we're good here. We're cool, right?
You and I?
Yeah.
Man, you and I are like family.
Really?
Yeah. We're like family. We're all real close around here.
Thank you. Thanks.
What is that? Is that a handshake? I
Maybe.
guess you haven't been watching our regularly scheduled programming.
No. Oh, there you have it, guys. The landscape has changed in modern vintage wrestling. Out with the old, in with the new. I'm just.
Shut up!
Yeah. I feel bad for anybody. Yeah, you can go ahead and cut it.
Wow. Wow.
I'm sorry. There's so many things about that are just absolutely hysterical to me. Oh my God. Feels like when you're driving a car and you hit somebody.
And get away with it.
Get away with it. Oh, dude. DJ was right. Kevin Cross cuts the best promos in the world. And that's just him. That's like not like a bunch of writers writing shit for him. That's like somebody telling him for 3 seconds what an angle is and him just doing work. That guy's great.
He just sold a bunch of tickets right there. He's awesome. It's just, the thing is, the guy has the look. He looks like he can hurt people. He moves like he can hurt people because he trains and he can hurt people. And he conducts himself in a manner with the way he speaks in a way that puts him on a level above everyone else.
That just entertains me. Like, I love a promo like that as much as I love going back and watching AR Fox stuff from 2 years ago where he's, jumping out of rafters and doing, crazy stuff with thumbtacks. I got to talk UFC, Byron. I know you hate me, but there's stuff going on. There's things. Cool. Things are happening. This Bjorn Rebney versus Dana thing is starting to heat up now because Dana's actually made some public comments. He went on the UFC Unfiltered podcast. Go check it out. He's on there for about the first half hour talking with Matt Terra Sarah, the only guy that can rhyme terror and Sarah. You figure it out. Anyway, he said he called Bjorn Rebney Bjork a whole bunch of times, which is funny. And he's the guy that used to run and own Bellator. And I listened to Bjorn Rebney and what he had to say on MMA Hour and a couple of the shows, and he makes a lot of sense to me. But he does have a certain amount of vitriol towards the UFC specifically. Like he's clearly trying to stick it to them, and that is a little bit of a problem. But I don't disagree with everything that he's saying. But Dana seemed a little ticked. Thought that was just kind of getting back to the guy saying, like, you're going to have somebody's hands in your pocket. You should ask some of the other fighters if this is the guy whose hands you really want in your pockets. And yeah, clearly there is something to be gained. But look, man, we live in a capitalist society, and you don't want people working for you if there's nothing to be gained. Like, I think Bjorn Rebney is the perfect guy to be leading this Fighters Association cause, because a lot of fighters' problems is that they're worried that they're going to catch a bunch of heat if they come out on the side of this thing. If you've got this clown talking, this guy's talking like this and saying these things, he's going to catch all the heat. He's exactly what you want. You want him to do a little sleight of hand in the media and in the front so that the guys in the back can get organized and do their thing. He's a mouthpiece. He's not running the whole show necessarily, and they can easily oust him if they want to. The guy needs a paycheck, which is what Dana White said. Why is this guy doing this? Because he needs a paycheck. Yeah, and he was a focal point of MMA for a long time, so there is a logical connection there. And it is kind of, pot kettle black, pot calling the kettle black, because he was a shady promoter himself that clearly screwed over some fighters. But who else would know the ins and outs of it better? I mean, he's the one saying that. So yeah, I'm not saying you have to trust the guy to hire the guy. He does seem, however, like the right guy for the job right now. He's making the right noise, making the right stink. In the same interview, Dana White also talks about the Cyborg thing. And we've talked about this on the show before. There's a lot going on with Cyborg. Cyborg, unbeknownst to all of us and maybe unbeknownst to the UFC, decided after that last awful weight cut where she had her trainer putting her on birth control that made her weight balloon at the wrong time, the horrible cut that she went through. She got through it and the fight went fine for her, but she said she was really depressed afterwards, and she decided to make some life changes. She said she was never going to try to do the weight cuts again without 12 weeks notice. Again, I don't know who she told these things to, but now she's saying them publicly. That she wanted 12 weeks on these weight cuts, and that she never wanted to go to 140 again. She would only fight 145, and that was with a 12-week time frame. Mm-hmm. So, it makes sense that she said this stuff, right? But she's also been saying that she wants a title fight at 145 in the UFC. Everyone's been screaming for this. MMA journalists everywhere have been like, yeah, it's just fine. She can't make 135. She's still awesome. We want to see her. You could build a division around her. Let's make a 145 belt. There's women out there that can fight 145. None of them are going to beat Cyborg, but hey, so she's another Demetrius Johnson. Who cares? It's another person you can put on a pay-per-view or anchor a Fox Sports card around. They could use it. Why not? It's worth the money. So they offered her Holly Holm. They offered her 145 title, offered her Holly Holm. Wow. She turned it down. Like, this is what she's been waiting for, because it was 8 weeks notice. And actually it was technically longer than 8 weeks notice, but
that would be a good fight, and she would still probably like 90% win, but it'd still be a fight that would sell tickets.
Great fight. Yeah. And then sadly, Holly Holm, her coach, Mike Winkeljohn, was like, that's not a good fight, and backed out of it.
Oh.
I think especially because of the fact that it looked like Cyborg wasn't going to take it with the 8 weeks notice. I think he would love to take it if he could be guaranteed the 8 weeks notice, but I think Winkeljohn was feeling like, no, this fight will get pushed, and then Cyborg will have ample time, and we'll be fighting a 100% Cyborg. Like, Winkeljohn's smart. He's like, yeah, Holly will take the fight if Cyborg's all fucked up in the head and having a weight cut problem. Then we can beat her. But, they're friends too, so they know each other. And yeah, Holly is Cyborg's a bad matchup for Holly. But Holly's on 2 losses right now. She was a champ and then lost twice. So she could use a big fight, and going up to 145 pounds for her would not necessarily be bad, because then when Cyborg's taking all this time off, she could be the other main person in the division, just racking up checks, beating up on girls, which would be awesome. Anyway, so they then offered her Jermaine Durandamy for the 145-pound title, which is a great fight for Cyborg. She'll demolish her. Durandamy is a gamer, but she's not as good as Cyborg by any stretch of the imagination. But she wants to fight Cyborg. She wants to fight her for her title. It'd be a big fight for her. And Cyborg turned it down again for doing it in March, because it was at like 11 and a half weeks or something.
Oh.
Like, I don't know what she's doing, but it's like they're finally giving you what you want. They're finally giving you what we all want, and you're not taking it. What the hell? So I don't know what Cyborg's deal is now, but it was interesting to hear Dana White kind of talk about that, and then, listen to Cyborg's responses to that stuff as well. And honestly, this is one of the times where it sounds like Dana is more in the right. Like, don't get me wrong. A fighter putting their health in jeopardy, like, they don't have to do that for us. But I'm not thinking that she's doing it for us. And I think what she's losing sight of is, what is she doing for herself? Like, what does this mean to her at this point? And clearly after that last weight cut, she's a little messed in the head. So, like, her camp and her people hopefully need to get with her and really sit down and look at what's important to her, but how to still do what's important to her, not just to protect her, but to still protect her and get her what she wants, because it feels to me like right now she's screwing it up. Anyway, the fights this past weekend, Benavidez versus Cejudo. That fight was a draw, people. I don't know what the hell fight these judges were watching. I don't know how there was a dick kick in the first round, and then they split the second 2 rounds. Clearly, to me, like it was no doubt about it. It was just a draw. And then one of these scorecards was just ridiculous. I just don't even know what you do about the judging in MMA at this point when you have those kind of decisions. It doesn't really matter because I don't know that either of these guys are qualified to fight DJ at this point anymore anyway. I mean, they are. And clearly these 2 guys are probably better than everybody else at 125 pounds except Dodson, but Dodson went up to 135. So you have this weird division where the parity is not there. These guys are not at the same level. There's Demetrius Johnson, who's at this level. Then you've got Benavidez and Cejudo, who are both right around here. And then everybody else is kind of down here, you know? And it just is what it is. Like, I don't even know what you do with that division. And I don't know that in under 4 or 5 years, everyone else at 125 is going to get there. And the problem that people have to understand is 125 is a really weird weight class. And I talked to John Dodson about this probably 3 or 4 years ago. Actually, it was even longer than that because that was when he was on Ultimate Fighter. It's probably 5 or 6 years ago now. That, like, Dodson, when he was coming up, he couldn't even find fights at 125. So he would actually try to bulk up, and he's a little tiny guy. He was taking fights at 155 a lot of times because that was the lightest weight class. Or he'd jump around from 35, 45, 55, you know. And all these guys are doing that. And now that you have a set weight class, it's weird for these guys to all kind of converge finally. And no one really knew. I mean, like, a lot of people thought Dodson was going to be the champ of this division. And it was kind of made almost towards him. Like when he was on Ultimate Fighter, he was fighting TJ at a higher weight class at 35 or 45 or whatever. So it's just weird. The weight class needs time to expand and develop, just like some of these women's weight classes did, to get more people in there, get people out there training and everything. There is somebody out there that can beat DJ. DJ will either lose a step or somebody else will come along that has his number, but he had a more thorough skill set sooner than other guys in his division. And I think Dodson is very, very close to DJ, but still just slightly behind him enough that DJ is going to keep getting over on him, hence why Dodson left the division. Anyway, no surprise that DJ beat Tim Elliott. Tim Elliott is a gamer, but he's one of these guys that's probably not even quite on the Benavidez and Cejudo level. He's probably just below those guys. But good for him, and maybe he can get himself in that top 10, top 5 of that division, stay there. Maybe he even goes up to 35. I don't know. There is a card coming up this weekend. There's UFCs every weekend until the end of the year, as I keep saying. It's Fight Night Derek Lewis versus Shamil Abdurkhamov. I can't even say his name. Should be an interesting card, nothing major. And then the week after that, we've got the Holloway Pettis fight that we were talking about last week. I don't have much else to say about it. I think I covered everything. You got anything else you want to talk about?
You covered all the stuff I wanted to say about MMA this week.
I know. I'm sorry. I just snatch it right out of your mouth sometimes.
I'll go first next time. No, I think
I'm gonna hold you to that. WWE product. The Charlotte thing, like I'm so baffled. Like I feel like I can't believe they're bringing back the Ric Flair thing now. I know they went through North Carolina, so they wanted to get the rub off of that, and the Charlotte, you know, returning on her dad's Raw thing. I just felt was weird.
Yeah, you know, I haven't seen much of WWE because of the censorship my hotel does, but I actually did get to see a little bit of Raw. Funny enough, the only bit of WWE that I've seen over the past few weeks has been pretty much one continuous Sasha Charlotte match.
It's pretty much been that for about 4 months now.
Yeah, no, it's after their big blow-off match, they're still going at it, and I just wanted something else. I mean, I think Sasha's
they're amping it up because now they're leading to an all night long kind of match or whatever.
Yeah, no, they're doing yeah, no, that's cool. An Iron Woman match.
Iron Woman match. 30-minute Iron Woman match.
Sasha did a really great one with Bayley. It was cool, but you know, we don't need to see these two fight each other anymore. we don't need to run.
No, Byron, clearly we need to go through every single gimmick match ever made with just these two women before that they ever feud with anyone else.
You got to get them all out of the way.
They're going to have a Royal Rumble match that is just the two of them.
Yeah. And they're still going to fight over who gets number one.
Oh, God.
But
and then they're going to recreate, Sabu, Rob Van Dam, and an Extreme Rules match.
Money in the Bank.
They're going to do their own Money in the Bank match, yeah.
Where
it'll be a mommy in the bank.
Something like that.
Did you know that Sasha's married to a seamstress? And it's a guy. And he's a seamstress. Did I lose you? Are you frozen or am I frozen? One of us is frozen. I can't tell. Yeah, it's you. You're frozen again. What happened, Byron? Your internet shut you down? They're shutting me out now, too? Sons of Beatrice. Anyway, yeah, Sasha's married to a seamstress. I thought that was very interesting. Apparently, he made her costumes for a long time. And I think he used to wrestle, too. Don't know much about the guy. I just thought it was funny. Alexa Bliss is a champion now, which I surprisingly feel like is a good thing. And I'd like to see where it goes for her. I don't know. Oh, I lost Byron altogether now. I'd like to see where it goes for her. I don't know what they can build angle-wise. Like, she's got some heat there. She's working the program with Becky Lynch, but now you're bringing in Natty and Bella, and I feel like, keeping it with those four, and Carmella's, I guess, kind of in there too. They need to hone in the program on SmackDown and figure out what the program's going to be. I feel like it's a little bit of a shotgun approach still, where they're trying to see what's going to stick. They're throwing the belt on Alexa, see if that works, like giving her the heel heat and let the face chase her, which I do think is a better idea. I think that Becky is better in the chase than as a sitting champion. I don't think she's going to get the same kind of pop that she would trying to chase down the belt. But we'll see. And I'm still digging the Wyatt thing. I'm not digging the Rollins thing now. I'm not feeling where the stuff is going with him, and I just don't know that they've got the title picture quite worked out. I kind of wish that Jericho had won the U.S. title and turned it into the Canadian title or something, and then him and KO could feud over whose belt is better. So we'll see. But the whole WWE picture right now, obviously they're trying very quickly to test some things out, to smooth things out going into Royal Rumble so that they know that they're angles. They feel like they're writing to me. But that's a good thing, and I think that can be exciting at times. Sometimes that's the best wrestling that you get, is when you can tell that they're trying some things out and trying to make sure that their angles for what they're booking down the line are going to work, because that, to me, is when the audience has the most say in the product. Is like, right now, dude, show up at a WWE event and cheer for what you want, because it might really make a difference right now. And I don't think that that's always the case. Byron says he can't get back in, but that's okay, because I'm pretty much done. He's pretty much done, because I say that he's pretty much done. You're pretty much done. Zero Cool, I don't know if you're done, but I'm done. Yeah, apparently Sasha being married to a seamstress killed Byron. He was like, that's it. I can't take it anymore. But everybody who's in the chat watching live, thank you for joining us. I know I'm cutting into some of you guys watching the West Coast feed. So, and if you're joining us later because you were watching the West Coast feed, I hope you enjoyed the show. Our show, their show, your show. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.